Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we are. It's Sunday. Actually, it's the eve of the London game here. We're here on a Saturday afternoon here, and doing the podcast. Guys, looking forward to the Browns and Vikings game. What do you think, Steve?
I'm looking forward to it, Brent. It's the first time in years that the Browns have to play in London overseas. It's been a little while, guys.
Yeah, I know. I've always been torn. I know the NFL wants to sell these games overseas.
Yeah.
I always thought it was, they're robbing a team out of a home game. We know that Minnesota's actually doing too. They were in Dublin last week
right.
against the Steelers. It's London this week. I don't know. Are you guys fans of the overseas games, or did you have
a game in Ireland last week?
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of am. I mean, it's something different, and like I said, more eyeballs. I'm not a big fan of that 9 a.m. start or 9:30 start.
9:30 a.m. start. Ugh, yes,
it's very tough.
Yeah, very very tough indeed. So, all right, guys, we're going to get started here, and we'll start with Mr. Steve Retzer, and we will get into the Browns versus Vikings preview. And that upcoming matchup here tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. So, Steve, we'll get it started here. What's your take on the Browns versus Vikings matchup?
All right, boys, let's get right into it. As we know, the game's in London, and the Browns are considered the home team.
Yeah.
The last time the Browns played in London was 2017 against guess who? The Minnesota Vikings.
Wow, good call.
They lost that game. Well, I guess the Browns, they made a quarterback change from Joe Flacco to Dylan Gabriel.
If you haven't heard, by the way.
Yeah.
He is the Browns' 41st quarterback to start since 1999. That's a lot of quarterbacks, guys.
Yeah. They actually have a jersey for that, I think.
Yes, they do. They're going to make it into a blanket,
That's right.
The list is getting longer.
Yep.
Dylan Gabriel, he's also the first rookie quarterback to make his start outside of the United States, overseas, of course, in London.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Gabriel, he has a tough task ahead of him, guys.
Yep.
He will have to face the tough Brian Flores-led defense of the Vikings. You don't want to be a rookie making your first start against them. Flores runs exotic looks and has pass rushers coming from every direction. Dave, I mean, the guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great defensive coach. They do some things through scheming up pressures. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But, yeah, that's the one thing. I think he's one of the better defensive coordinators in this league. I think we talked about it, Steve. I think it's just a matter of time before he gets a job again as a head coach in the league.
I think you're going to see him get a head coaching gig again.
Yeah.
I really do. It will be interesting to see Stefanski's play calling with this hand-picked guy at quarterback. I think he looks forward to it, and Gabriel will be able to move and process information quite well for a rookie. Of course, playing 6 years of college football helps him a lot, right?
Yeah, I think
he's almost like a veteran.
He'll be getting that pension sometimes. The question is, will he get it from both Oklahoma and Oregon? I just wonder, but I digress.
I think Stefanski's going to open up the playbook. I think he should be able to, even though he's a rookie, he understands a lot, so he could do a lot of different things, and we're just going to have to see about that. Expect to see a faster-paced offense with run-pass option, RPO, and more bootlegs, in which Gabriel uses athleticism.
Some rollouts, yeah.
Yep, to extend plays and use his legs. We may see short passes, but he may target the middle of the field in hopes that the receiver can make a big play across that middle of the field.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, we saw, that preseason, and I know we got all excited about it in the preseason. Mr. Keaton did, I'm sure. But those were against a lot of defenses that have players that are no longer on those rosters.
Yeah.
So let's be fair.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think there's ever a good time to start. I mean, it's still the NFL. You're going to face NFL talent. But an upper-tier defense, Steve, like this one is definitely a challenge. That's no doubt.
Yep. I want to see Gabriel hand the ball off to star so far running back Quinshon Judkins.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see the two rookies get their first shot to play together and hopefully make things happen. I think Judkins should get 18 to 20 carries.
Yes, the more the merrier. I'm here for it. Yes.
It takes some pressure off Gabriel from throwing 40 times. We don't want Gabriel to have to throw 40 times in this game.
No, that would be a problem.
Gabriel connected with Jabari Thrash in the preseason, so let's see if he has that same connection. Many think Isaiah Bond will be targeted the most, with Cedric Tillman out with the injury, and Jerry Jeudy just showing lack of production and dropping some balls. So, of course, as we know, he has his tight ends in David Njoku and Harold Fana Jr. to throw, and they can run the 2 tight end sets that we talk about, Dave, where they can block too as well. I'd love to see all the rookies, performing great together, which is Gabriel getting into Judkins, Fana Jr., Ian Bond especially. How about the battle of the rookies game? You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be exciting? The rookies are doing all the offense where they're lackluster so far.
So are we seeing a future trio of Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, Judkins at running back, and Harold Fana Jr. at tight end? Is the future of the Cleveland Browns
Yes, we are.
offense?
Yeah, this could be the future of the Browns, boys.
The future of the Cleveland Browns offense. Here we go.
Yes, I mean, this could be it.
Yep.
Or if Shador somehow made his way. He's from the same class, rookie.
Let's pump the brakes on that right now.
We'll pump it.
Please pump the brakes. Yes.
The Browns defense is led by Myles Garrett. It would be nice for London fans to see him go off and get after older veteran Carson Wentz for at least 2 sacks. Carson Schlesinger and Devin Bush. They look to continue having big games and making tackles. Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome must play tough against the Vikings' top receivers.
Yes. That's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yep. Newsome is questionable, so I hope he's ready to play, because if he's out, the Browns could have a long day, depending on Miles Harden and recently waived Cameron Mitchell.
Well, see, remember the one thing that we said, Steve, and we actually talked about this in the preseason. When they lost Emerson, which was a reliable third corner, they could not afford an injury, especially to Newsome or to Ward. Because you could see the one thing that teams have done against the Browns is they've tried to isolate that third corner in pass coverage, and it's hurt him. Harden and Mitchell, when he was in there, got exposed too.
And I think Harden's a good player, but he can't be relied on as a top performer, top corner. That's just tough there.
Exactly.
And they waived Cameron Mitchell. How about that? I mean, he had a good preseason, and I guess we're not at the practices, Dave, every day, so I guess he wasn't making it happen.
To be fair, he had some struggles in pass coverage. He got picked on by Lamar in that win in the second half against the Ravens.
For the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy is out with an ankle injury, so Carson Wentz gets the start again. Running back Jordan Mason is having a strong year, but trying to run through Malik Collins and Mason Graham has been a difficult task so far this season, guys. The Vikings receivers are amongst the best of the business, with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. They could really light up the Browns secondary quite fast, depending on how Carson Wentz looks in this game. If Wentz looks good, I mean, they could really take off. If he could play like the old guy that hasn't played in years, I mean, you never know.
I think we have some people here that were once Carson Wentz fans, right? The pulse of the table here.
I actually wanted the Browns to draft him.
Well, I still think he gets credit for the Super Bowl because he got him that regular season record.
Basically, 75-80% of that regular season was him.
Yeah, I think Foles played 4 or 5 games,
end of the season, and then the playoff run.
Yeah, so he gets credit for that. But they did put a statue of Nick Foles in front of the Philadelphia Stadium. I don't know. That's another subject for another day.
And that was an all-time Super Bowl performance. How well Foles played in that game, too.
And Wentz had a great game against the Browns. His first NFL start was against the Browns, and he beat us too. If you remember that, guys, long ago.
I thought they beat us with Wentz.
I
thought it was.
Well, we got to him in the COVID year. I think we did get the Eagles pretty good during the COVID year because I believe we went undefeated against that division, if I'm not mistaken. I thought they were able to beat both the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cowboys and Washington because that was the year that in the COVID year all 4 of those teams finished with under 500 records. So it was a bad division.
The Browns handled Carson Wentz a few years ago, by the way, when he started for the Commanders. But that was then, and this is now.
That's when Watson was the starter.
That's correct.
Right, he just
Deshaun was the starter. Remember? We watched the casino.
We're at the casino.
We watched the game there.
The Browns won by I think like a touchdown or maybe 10 points.
They won pretty good.
It was after Watson had come back from the suspension.
But I remember that game. Watson still didn't play that great.
He didn't play great,
and they won, but it was weird. Anyways, continue.
The Vikings' defenses have been quite disruptive so far this season. Brian Flores may be the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. They're led by Jonathan Greenard and Andrew Van Ginkel on the ends, both Pro Bowlers last year, guys. Jonathan Allen and former Eagle Javon Hargrave are tough on the defensive line. For the secondary, Harrison Smith, he's a veteran. He's getting older, but he's still a top safety. And watch out for this guy, guys. Cornerback Isaiah Rodgers. He's a turnover machine. I mean, the guy's just a beast. I mean, against Cincinnati, I think he had 2 touchdowns on defensively as a corner.
Well, I mean, can the Browns receivers stuff up? We say it every week. I mean, can we, I've got some numbers here on Mr. Judy. We need him to step up. We need a number 2 wide receiver to step up. If it's going to be Thrash or if it's going to be Bond, those are the 2 most likely candidates. But one of those 2 guys needs to make a contribution. It can't just all be thrown to the tight ends and running Judkins. They're going to have to be able to work some of those intermediate routes, and they're going to have to be able to make some plays.
And guys, I got to say this. I'm glad this was the right time to make that quarterback change.
Yeah.
If Joe Flacco was in this game, I would predict at least 2 interceptions, probably a fumble. I mean, it would get ugly. So I'm glad we don't have to talk about that. And I'm just going to make that comment there.
Yes.
The Vikings are used to playing overseas, and the Browns haven't since 2017. So the advantages go to the Vikings. I personally think O'Connell is a better coach than Stefanski out of the Kevins. They're both Kevins, and I think O'Connell's better.
Well, you're a big O'Connell fan, and
I am.
I tend to agree with you on that.
I think he's an up-and-coming coach.
I like what he did with Kirk Cousins. He got a good year out of Cousins. He obviously got a great year last year out of Sam Darnold. We still don't know about the JJ experiment and how that's going to work, but you guys tell me he's a winner. So we will see how that works.
And we want you to wager on it. Please wager on JJ, Dave.
I know. Hey, I got roped into that by you 2. But yeah, I actually, it's going to be interesting because this is a roster with talent on it. You can see it's got playmakers in the front 7 on defense that I like. It's a well-coached defense. You got a great duo on the outside. It's solid at running back. When it's healthy, it's a good offensive line. That's a major concern, by the way, this week, I would also add. But this is a roster that's ready to win. It just depends on whether it comes back to quarterback play, like it does with a lot of teams in this league.
Yep. And both of the Kevins, they have something in common.
Yeah.
They're both offensive-minded coaches with great defensive coordinators. Coordinators, Jim Schwartz, was a head coach.
Right.
Very successful, runs our Browns defense very well. Brian Flores, I believe he coached Miami good. He got booted out. They won 6 in a row. You know what I mean? Anyway, he's a good coordinator. So they both are offensive-minded, have good defensive coordinators.
I would add that there's probably 2 of the top 5 D coordinators in football in this game.
I believe so.
For sure.
I believe so, Dave.
Yeah.
But anyway, to get down to the business, it's tough playing a rookie. The Vikings offense has executed better than the Browns this season. I have the Minnesota Vikings winning 27-13.
Wow.
And a long day for the Browns.
Wow.
Unfortunately, boys.
Oh,
wow.
Not a lot of confidence there, Steve.
All right.
I want them to compete, but we'll see.
Thanks, Steve. We will get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, how do you see things between the Browns and the Vikings here in this upcoming matchup tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. in London? What do you got?
Okay, well, let's start with the start of the Dylan Gabriel era. Let's let it begin. This will be an interesting test for both teams as they travel to London at 9:30 a.m. for the start time. It's going to be rough, by the way. We're trying to find places to watch the game. I'll have to set my alarm clock, by the way, guys.
Me too. I close late Saturday at the restaurant, so I'll be setting it.
2 of the league's actually least effective and most turnover-prone offenses, by the way, through the first 4 weeks of the season. Take the field here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London on Sunday. They will both be up against very tough defenses. And let's start with the Browns. As we all know, this is the first start for rookie Dylan Gabriel. It's, Brian Flores' defense, as Steve talked about, is a tall task. The Browns' offensive line will face some difficult challenges considering the offensive tackle position. Steve, last week it was turnstiles. I mean, they had 2 backup tackles in there, and it was bad. We know DeJuan Jones is done for the year. Jack Conklin, we'll see. I've heard it's a game.
I heard he's questionable.
It's questionable. It could be a game time decision.
When he's questionable, you almost consider him just out.
Exactly.
Gosh, we'd love to have him in there.
The thing is that you have Lucas on that one side. That Leverston last week, he was horrible. That was a nightmare trying to
block. They
block.
got another guy right there.
Brock Hutchinson, and I was going to go there.
Yes.
Cam Robinson, who they got from Houston. Only played in a few games, only started 1 game this year, but is a veteran. He's been in the league about 8-9 years. Actually came in 2017. He was drafted by the Jags. So he's probably going to get the start at the 1 tackle position. It's going to be interesting. The position was really attacked last week by Hutchinson, and Minnesota has the 7th overall rated defense. The Vikings have some guys who can really cause some issues in the front seven for Gabriel. Jonathan Allen, who's a veteran player, was a very solid pass rusher there for Washington. Javon Hargrave, as he mentioned, on the defensive line, both players. The Vikings run the 3-4 scheme. I found it interesting, though, that the Vikings do a lot by scheming up pressure. I saw a stat. They have a 37.4 blitz rate, which ranks 4th in the NFL. They have solid players in that front seven, but that when you have to scheme up pressure, that usually means you don't have an alpha. You don't have a Miles, you don't have a Watt, you don't have a Parsons, you don't have a top-notch edge guy, even a Hendrickson or a Crosby or somebody like that. So teams like that generally need to scheme up pressure to get a pass rush. So that's going to be interesting going into this one. Although, who really does have, a Miles, a Parsons, et cetera? Not very many teams. That's why those guys...
They're just fully loaded, though, Dave.
Exactly.
And I do like Hargrave.
Yeah, Hargrave's a solid player. Yeah, they have some good players. They have solid players. Like I said, this front seven is very talented overall. I find it interesting, with Gabriel, and how the Browns' offensive tackles hold up. But he needs to get some help in some different areas. Number one, let's find a run game. The Browns are ranked 34.3% run play rate, which is the 4th lowest rate in the league, which surprises me with the Stefanski offense. It also surprises me with a running back that's averaging 4.8 yards per carry. This would be yet another game where he should get in that 20-plus carries. The best friend of a rookie quarterback is a run game. He's going to need one in this one. It would be nice to see him have that benefit. I'd also be interested to see the game plan, the overall game plan in this one. Do we see the play action, under center stuff, the bootlegs, the rollouts? I think you have to.
I do. I have some knowledge because I did some research this week. They are going to be putting in a lot of motions this week. They're going to be moving. There's going to be the play calling will actually look completely different. I actually have another take on it. We did talk about it in a Thursday cast.
Sure.
I don't think that Stefanski had his hands on Flacco's play calling that much. I think it was Tommy Rees. Now I think we're going to see more Stefanski with Dylan Gabriel. I'm excited to see this. I do think that I kind of think Flacco might have did better. I think Tommy Rees had his hands on that Flacco play calling. I kind of feel that way.
That could have been a possibility.
Always blame it on somebody else.
But I mean, you're right. Well, based on the stat that I just gave about them being, not more run-based, I can see where you're coming from on that, Brent. That they would have put more of an emphasis on a run, and it's the run game, the Stefanski offense.
Exactly, and they weren't doing under center. Yeah. They weren't doing it nearly enough. I did find out that Tommy Rees, he likes the spread.
Yeah.
And if you guys have been watching football with the Browns the last few years, when did they do their best work? It was Flacco under center.
I can attest to that. They ran a lot of spread when Rees was running the offense with Jay Milroe at Alabama.
Yeah, and that's a different cast of characters.
Different type of quarterback for sure.
Different type. And he can run a little more. There's... So, anyways, I just want to get sidetracked, but that had to be said.
I agree with you. I think you make some good points. I think they're going to use play action. I think they're going to use bootleg. I think they're going to use rollouts. And I think in this league, more than ever, you need a quarterback with mobility. That's a major reason he's starting.
And Dave, I think receivers are going to get open.
Well,
I do.
That leads me into a great point. And how's that for the Sultan of Segway here?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about Mr. Jerry Jeudy. I saw an interesting stat. By the way, Steve, he leads the league in drop passes with 17 this year.
Congratulations.
You want to give him a standing ovation for that one? I think that's an outro, Steve.
Yes.
It would also help, again, if the number 2 wide receiver steps up. Obviously, a Thrash. We know he had a good preseason. Isaiah Bond has shown an ability to get open at times. It would be interesting to see if Dylan can develop that chemistry with Thrash. On the defensive side of the ball, this is where I think the Browns really can cause the Vikings some issues. Going into this one, I don't know if you saw this, Steve. The Vikings are missing 3 starting offensive linemen.
I heard that.
Wow,
that's big.
Yeah, I heard that there was at least one.
There's 3.
Yeah, they could be down 3. They're at the guard position, at the center position, and at the tackle position. So I find what I'm going to find really interesting, especially with this being Wentz's 3rd start. Now, 523 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks though. He looked shaky last week. I got a chance to watch parts of that game against the Steelers. As I said, I was once a fan of this guy in his days in Philadelphia. I actually thought Frank Reich and Doug Peterson got a lot out of him. They surrounded him with a really good supporting cast in Philadelphia. And I do think once that cast deteriorated, so did his level of play. It's going to be interesting to see also Myles Garrett against both of these tackles. I would say Christian Darrisaw is one of the best offensive tackles in the game. It'd be interesting if he works the other side. Justin, I believe it's Scully, I may be mispronouncing that, pardon me, is a backup tackle. Does Myles work that side to maybe get some pressures on Wentz? That's going to be interesting to watch in this game. So the Vikings have gotten a solid contribution out of Jordan Mason, good back, 4.8 yards per carry. He's had a bigger role since the Aaron Jones injury, and I've always been an Aaron Jones fan. I think he's one of the better backs in the league. But the interior of Graham and Collins has been solid. It's the best rush defense in the NFL. So I think really this game is going to come down to Wentz throwing the ball. The other thing that's really going to be interesting, Steve touched on it, I'm going to go there. I think the Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson combination is one of the best 1-2 punches in football. It's interesting. We always talk about how our corners match up against Higgins and Chase.
Yeah, it might be the second best, right behind Higgins and Chase.
It's right up there. It's definitely in the top 4 or 5 of 1-2 punches at wide receiver in the NFL.
Addison's getting better and better as well.
Well, he just came off a 3-game suspension, had a great week last week.
Yes.
4 catches for 114 yards against the Steelers. He's a really good deep threat who can get behind the defense. The opposite side, in my view, is Justin Jefferson, who over the course of his first 5 seasons, all he's done is catch 495 passes. and in my view, and we did kind of a little bit of a rankings before the start of the season. I think me and you, Steve, had him as one of the top 2 receivers.
We had him right behind Chase.
Yeah.
But it could go either way.
It could go either way. A case can be made. And in the short scheme, what do the Browns want to do? They want to run man. They're going to play some zone, but they're going to be a predominant man coverage. So we're going to see it. Hopefully a healthy Newsome and a healthy Ward versus Addison and Jefferson. Let's dance. Yeah. And, the Browns did a really good job of holding down Chase and Higgins that first week of the season, Steve.
They did.
So, really the way the Browns match up with the Vikings offense, especially the D-line against a backup Minnesota offensive line, gives me a lot of hope in this one. So I'm going to get to my conclusion. This is not the ideal spot for Dylan to make his first start. I agree with that. The Flores defense should throw some interesting pressure packages at him. This should be an interesting one considering the Browns' offensive tackle situation. I think his mobility will help him, though. I think his ability to get outside the pocket, make some throws is going to be
and he rolls out when necessary.
Right.
He's not going to do a Watson where he rolled out way too much. He did not stay in that pocket.
And hopefully we see that Stefanski game plan you were just referring to. The under center stuff, the play action, the bootlegs, things like that.
Yeah.
The Browns D-line I expect to get home a few times in this one. It's going to be interesting to see the offensive game plan, but I think they're going to be able to run the ball with Judkins in this one. Remember, Atlanta was able to have some success running the football earlier in the year in that Week 2 matchup against the Vikings. I think they got a solid out of Judkins. I think Dylan has a solid debut. I think the defensive line does the rest, and the Browns pull out a 16-13 win in London.
Wow. Well said, Dave. I like where you're going with that. I kind of think there'll be a little more points, though, to be honest. We'll get into mine.
I say it's going to be a low-scoring game, guys.
Well, you know what this is? This is the Bengals versus the Browns Week 1 played again.
Yeah, that's true.
Except this week they make the kick.
Yeah, that's true.
This week
it could happen that way. I wouldn't be opposed to your prediction. I mean, but Browns win. You can't go wrong with that. All right, Steve. I hope you get this game of the week right. Like last week, you were wrong on that, and no one. Hey, by the way, no one's tabulating these losses.
And we're not gloating or anything.
Yeah. I'm not writing it down.
Checking boxes.
I know.
Steve lost. Check the box.
Amy Green showed at the bar and said, "Steve, I lost again. It's your fault." But anyways. Steve, go and lead us into the game of the week. What is your game of the week? And get us a prediction.
All right, guys. I elected to go with the baddest of the bad. The bad team game. I got the New York Giants at the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
I know. I had to go with it.
Did Bad News Bears make a sequel? And is this Walter Matthau's going to come back maybe somehow and do this? I mean,
Steve chose to go with an ESPN classic here. You know?
My God. I mean, you're kidding me. All right.
I had a reason why I picked this game, though, guys.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say it real quick. Jackson Dart. He's one of my deciding factors on choosing this game in particular.
You know? Go ahead.
Okay. The Saints are 0-4, and the Giants are 1-3 so far. In a really bad football game, as I just said. I chose it because of the storyline on Giants rookie starter Jackson Dart. Yeah. He came in for Russell Wilson, who got benched. And last week, they beat the hot Chargers in his first start at home. Now he gets his first start on the road, guys, at New Orleans. Meanwhile, the Saints are winless, but lost to the Cardinals and 49ers in close fashion. And they stayed within reach of the Bills. They didn't get crushed. Spencer Rattler is still trying to get his first win as a Saint. I believe the Saints are a bad football team, maybe even the worst in the whole NFL. They might get a top draft pick.
I will say, they have a little bit of offensive talent. Rattler has played well at times. I watched him play at Oklahoma. There are signs. I never thought he would be a big-time NFL starting quarterback. But, you still have a couple good skill players there. You have an Olave at wide receiver, Alvin at running back. Is still, I'll call him Alvin K. He's still one of the better all-around running backs in football. So he's got a couple players around him that can make some plays on that team.
And he can run the football a little bit himself as well. Right. He can run. I think he had a 3-touchdown passing game a few games ago, too. So, yeah, he's showing some talent. It's just that's not the quarterback I'd want as my star.
No, and he's not the long-term answer there. This is a team that's playing for a high pick in the draft and looking for a franchise quarterback in the future, for sure.
Jackson Dart is going to try and get a win without star receiver Malik Neighbors, who was out for the season with an injury.
Did you see that? That was nasty.
Oh, did that have to happen?
That was a nasty injury, by the way.
Tough break for the Giants.
Yeah.
Cam Scadaboo. I'm not saying if I said that.
You got it right.
Okay. Oh, good.
I love Scadaboo.
Okay, good. He leads the running game. Jalen Hyatt is in for Neighbors, so everyone's saying, how is he going to do? They're saying he could be pretty good. He plays alongside Darius Slayton.
Yeah, he was opposite of Tillman at Tennessee.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, he was opposite of Tillman at Tennessee.
Okay, so he's pretty solid.
Yeah, he actually won the Biletnikoff in college. I thought he robbed Marvin Harrison out of it one year.
Wow. Okay. The Giants' defensive line is just awesome, guys.
Yes, it's really good.
Defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. I believe he has an injury, but he's going to be playing.
Yeah.
He leads the way. And the linebackers, Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, they're playing tough. Burns, they got from Carolina. He's having a great season. He was a great pickup.
Still waiting for a little bit more impact out of Abdul Carter, who I think we both had pegged as one of the top rookies.
Yeah.
Maybe the top defensive
rookie. We thought he was going to be defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, right.
They said that he's made... Some are saying he's made an immediate impact, but he's not doing what we thought we were expecting video game numbers. We were thinking, come in,
a lot more pressures, a lot more sacks.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they are the keys to this game on defense, guys. Spencer Rattler has been running the football. Alvin Kamara, as you mentioned, Dave, he still runs the ball. And Kendre Miller complements Kamara quite well. Rattler can run the ball himself, as I mentioned. Tight end Juwan Johnson is actually leading the team in receiving, which surprised me, Dave, because as you both we're both going to say, Chris Olave, and they got Brandon Cooks. He started his career with the Saints.
Solid veteran.
Looks like he's going to end his career with the Saints. It looks like.
Yeah.
They're the main receivers for Rattler to get the ball to, but this Juwan Johnson, you guys seen him at all? He's playing a solid season. They're a bad team, but
right? Yeah,
he's leading them in receiving. That's not bad. I expected Olave or something.
Yeah, I thought Olave would be a larger target in that offense as well.
The Saints defense is led by edge rusher Carl Granderson and former Brown and Jet linebacker Demario Davis. He's getting up there, but this guy's still tough. He's leading the team in tackles. I feel like the guy's really old, you know what I mean? But he doesn't go away. And then, of course, the Saints have future Hall of Famer Cameron Jordan.
Right.
Is tough on that defensive line. The Saints are a running football team, but I think the Giants' defensive line and linebackers could shut them down. Rattler doesn't give up, but they will just be too tough to handle. Brian Dable proves he's still a good coach with his quarterbacks and will prove that Dart can do it without Neighbors, I think.
Are you a Dart fan, by the way? I mean, would you have thought him to be one of the better quarterbacks coming out of this draft?
I did. I thought possibly he was going to be a bust. And then when I watched some of the preseason play, I'm like, wow, I see why the Giants drafted him.
Well, I saw some people that actually liked him better than a Shador, and maybe even better than a Cam Ward. You have a thought, Brent?
I'd rather have Shador Sanders.
Really?
I did not like Jackson Dart. Did he come out of Ole Miss?
Ole Miss,
Yeah,
Ole
I
Miss,
watched some of his games. No. I didn't see it.
In Ole Miss, it seems like he did throw some bombs down the field a little bit, right?
Yeah, he could push the ball. He's got more than enough arm strength. I thought he's a solid, kind of baller. I tell you what. Well, you weren't a very big Bo Nix fan either.
No, but Bo Nix though.
Yes.
Is by far a better prospect than your boy Dart.
See,
Not
I
even
thought there were
close.
elements of Dart's game that were similar to Bo Nix, though, coming out of college.
Yeah,
But,
I watched both of them, and I think Nix is a more clutch player.
Okay.
Overall better player than Dart. Just my opinion.
If you'd have watched Nix at Auburn, you might not have said that because he played his best football at Oregon.
He played. I was just going to say, I'm talking about more of his Oregon years. I got to go with the most recent body of work.
That's true.
Anywho,
Dave, don't you think that Jackson Dart, first rookie game, beats Herbert in the Chargers? He must be some kind of special talent. And they were at home,
that's right.
And then Malik Neighbors goes down, and he still gets this team to persevere and win that football game.
well, hold on, guys. Early. We all know when a guy comes out the first time and he does well. That don't mean nothing because of the film.
Well,
we just got to keep that in mind.
They also got some turnovers in that game, and that defensive line caused a lot of problems to a Chargers offensive line that's got some questions on it right now, by the way, and some health issues. Maybe at both tackle spots, by the way. So
There's
that might have been more about the Giants' defense than it was about Dart just having a day throwing the football.
Yeah.
At
any rate, boys, I had the Giants winning this game 23-20
in
the Battle of the Bads. And Dart does just enough to win and be 2-0 as a starter.
Go ahead, Steve.
Go Dart and go Giants.
All right, there you go.
I'll make sure I'll check that out on the NFL ticket tomorrow, Steve. I'll make sure that one will be highlighted at wherever I'm going to be at that point of the day.
Better highlight that game.
Yeah. I got to lock in to see how Steve's Battle of the Bad is.
Lock in this bad
my
game that
God.
no one's going to watch, but I had to take it.
I might have to text you. Hey, by the way, the score is 3-2. The score is 3-2. It's a baseball game. Maybe a safety and a field goal. Steve, what am I watching? All right. All right, we will get to Mr. Dave Greenshield.
Yeah.
This guy has been doing a little better now. This picks, he's on.
I got a tie last week.
You've been you're doing
you're
better.
In the right direction.
Your bold predictions, you're kind of on the. I think Retzer's more in decline, and Greenshield is going up. I'm just saying it, calling out. I see it. All right, what do you got, Dave? What's your game of the week?
All right, I'm going with two teams I liked in the preseason. I'm going with the Eagles and the Denver Broncos. Interesting one, and this will be an interesting test for both teams. I picked them both to win their divisions in the preseason, and this will be a good test for both offense. I still believe both teams have some questions on offense, and let's start with the Broncos. It starts with Bo Nix, a quarterback that Steve had some questions for. I think that's why you picked Denver to finish where they were picked to finish at the start of the season. His ability to come up with big in these games is still very much in question. He did have a nice bounce-back game last week against the Bengals, although it helps to face the Bengals' defense. 29 of 42 for 326 and 2 touchdown passes. He did throw a pick in that one. This was a nice bounce-back game after that disappointing performance against the Chargers. We watched that game, Steve.
Yes,
and there were several missed open throws in that game that were, where he had a chance. He had a nice throw on man coverage down the sideline when that score was tied at 20. He needed to hit that throw. They ended up punting the ball back to the Chargers. That's when Herbert drove him down. They kicked the game-winning field goal in that one. But he missed several open receivers in that one. He's been good at times. He has thrown 3 picks this year. He's really the key to this offense because when you look at this group, he's got a strong supporting cast in a few areas. First of all, I love the trio of wide receivers. I like Troy Franklin. I like Cortland Sutton, who's a solid number one. Marvin Mims is a 3, isn't bad. So they got 3 solid wide receivers. I think the Vic Fangio defense, and this is a pass defense that's been victimized a little bit the last couple weeks. Now, to be fair, they've gone against Baker, they've gone against Stafford, they've gone up against 2 upper-tier passing games the last couple weeks. But this was the best overall defense in 2024. Now, you look at it, Steve, we talk about a defense that we thought that might not be the same. To your point, 22nd ranked defense right now.
Wow.
So
they're supposed to be top 10, maybe even top 5.
Well, remember, they faced a couple of decent offenses. Dak to start the year, Baker, Stafford. So they faced some upper tier quarterbacks here earlier in the season. Injuries have kind of taken their toll. They did actually, lost Nolan Smith to an injury earlier in the year, who was a key player. They will be getting back linebacker Nakobe Dean, who missed 4 games. He started 15 games last year, had 128 tackles, solid linebacker, good player. One of those Georgia guys they love to draft, by the way, on defense. Nothing wrong with drafting Georgia players on defense, ever.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. The interior of the D-line, again led by a Georgia combination in Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. They're hard to block inside. It's going to be interesting to see if the Denver offensive line can kind of build on that really good rushing performance. My bold peeve from last week, I took J.K. to go over 100 yards. He had 101 last week. Couldn't believe he was the first Denver running back to go over 100 yards since 2022. That's amazing to me.
Wow, they've always had good running games for years.
Yeah, Latavius Murray, shout out. It's going to be interesting to see if the Eagles can manufacture pressure. Fangio does tend to try and do that through blitzing. Can they get some interior pressure, which you want to do on Nix because he's got that ability to evade the pocket, make plays outside the pocket. That's a strength actually of both of these quarterbacks in this game. They're going to have to mix up some coverages. DeJean and Mitchell on the outside against Sutton and Franklin. It will be a good corner receiver combination as far as matchups on the outside. I believe there will be chances for Nix to make plays and make connections in this game. It's just a matter of can he hit the throws and avoid the big mistake throw. On the other side of the ball, the Eagles' offense, it's interesting this year. We thought Saquon Barkley would have a little bit of a decline since last year, with the over 2,000-yard season. You know what I didn't realize, guys? Only 3.1 yards per carry this year. Do you believe that his numbers?
Dave, I mentioned this in the extravaganza.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said he's not even have close to the same year. It was so crazy the great year he had last year. Don't misunderstand. He's a great back. Remember, I had Henry ahead of him.
Yeah.
He's still going to do well, but he's not going to get what he did. That doesn't surprise me.
No, but I think
don't know what Brent thinks.
I think we expected a decline, but if it's a decline, it's a 1,500 yard type rushing season, which is still
good.
Yeah, still really good. So but 3.1 yards per carry. You know what you can see? Defenses have him as a marked man. The bottom line is here's what they want to do. They're trying to limit his effectiveness and put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands. It just is what it is. Interesting matchup on the offensive line. I believe the Eagles, when healthy, still have the best offensive line in football. Mailata and Lane Johnson are two of the best, maybe the best offensive tackle combination in the NFL when healthy. I know Lane Johnson has had a little bit of injury issues so far this year. They'll face one of the best pass rushers in the game in Nick Bonito. 4.5 sacks this year. He signed a big contract in the offseason. From the linebacker spot. He's one of the more underrated pass rushers in the NFL. The Eagles' offense has had to lean more on Hurts the last couple weeks. Brent, I know you picked the Rams against them. But again, he just makes plays when he needs to. He's got 5 touchdowns in his last 2 games, 5 touchdown passes in his last 2 games with no picks. And, he's also contributing on the ground, 179 yards rushing this year and 4 rushing touchdowns. Some of those Philly specials, I think, right, guys? It's those tush push.
Yes.
Yes. He just shows that ability to make the big throw or big play with his legs when the Eagles need it. The matchups on the outside are also going to be interesting this week. You know what's interesting? I don't know if you guys have heard some of the A.J. Brown grumblings this week. I find it interesting that him and Hurts' relationship has been described as just functional and professional, by the way. So he's kind of been complaining about not getting the football enough.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. And he's one of the better receivers in the NFL. And if you notice, though, when Hurts needs a play, he throws up one of those deep balls, and A.J. Brown's able to outmuscle one of the corners and make a play on the ball. So, but, 14 catches this year, 151 yards. He only 28 targets in 4 games, so you can see he wants to try and get the football more. And he's actually been a non-factor in 3 of their 4 games. It's going to be interesting to see if him and Devontae Smith can get open against the Denver corners. Reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain back there.
Yes.
One of the better corners in the NFL. So, I would say both offenses really have their work cut out against them against really talented and well-coached defenses in this one. My conclusion is I really like both of these teams coming into the season. These rosters have defenses and offensive skill players that I really like on both sides. It's going to be interesting to see if either one of these offenses can get a running game going. I've been waiting for kind of a Barkley breakout game. Could this be it? Against this Denver defense, it could be very tough. Because they're going to probably, again, try to put the ball in Hurts' hands and make him make some down-the-field throws to beat him. I expect both QBs to make some plays in this game, with their legs, especially getting outside the pocket and making some throws. In this one, Steve, I'm going to trust your guy Hurts to pull it out late on a field goal. I got Philly 23-21.
All right. Well said, Dave. And we would get to my game of the week, and I got to go with my boy Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
And the Commanders.
Is he back?
He's back. He's back. We got to.
Taking over finally from Marcus Mariota, by the way.
Yeah, this is my guy, outside of Dylan. Dylan's always he's my number one, but you got to have a side chick. And my side chick is the Mr. Daniels. Anyways, 32-27 is my prediction on this game. Going to get right to it. I kind of feel like the Commanders will pull that out. Let's get into some statistics here. The Commanders and the Chargers set for a high-scoring affair. That breaks the typical predictions favoring the home team, despite the statistical advantage held by Justin Herbert, a.k.a. the Fraud.
The Fraud.
Oh
Is he still the fraud? Why does he get called the fraud?
I know.
I think you have to take that label off of him.
He had a
I know.
bad week last week against that Giants D-line. We really got after him.
By the way, I think the title's back on because of this performance against the Giants.
Yeah, okay.
Just saying. I don't want to. You know what? You texted me this week if he does good. By the way,
I might have to.
You're a fan. I know
All
you
right.
are, Steve.
Crucially, the Chargers' offensive line is severely weakened by injuries, presenting a golden opportunity for Washington's defensive front to consistently pressure the Fraud.
Well, see, that's the thing is they might be without Alt this week. Their other tackle, they already lost their one tackle for the entire season. Mm-hmm. So if they're down both tackles, I just don't know if that Washington defensive front has the guys to really make life hard on Mr. Herbert this week. That'll be interesting to see.
A late game drive fueled by Daniels' dual threat ability and a defensive stop in the red zone tips the scales in this thrilling contest, securing a hard-fought victory. I got the Commanders 32-27 over the Chargers, and the Fraud now goes to 3-2.
See, was this just a matter of you picking a quarterback you like a lot and a quarterback you don't like a lot?
That's what happened.
Okay.
You guys know where I'm heading with
chose
this.
this game.
Yeah,
I know.
That one.
So anyways, all right, guys, we are going to move into the last segment of the show, and that is the bold predictions.
Yeah.
And we will turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield, who's doing pretty good on these bold predictions as of late.
Yeah.
Dave, give us your bold prediction of this week's game.
Yeah, I've been liking my bold P's better than I've liked some of my game picks or my game of the week picks, by the way, gentlemen. All right, let me go back to London, guys. I think it's Miles' time in this one. I think he's going to be a driving force behind the victory in this one, guys. I picked the Browns to win this 16-13. I think Miles has 3 sacks against Minnesota. I think he's just a one-man wrecking crew in this one. I think he has a day. He's got obviously more help on that defensive line with Collins and with Mason Graham. We've talked about the way Alex Wright has also stepped up.
Yep.
And meanwhile,
Isaiah
McGuire, yeah, they found other pass rushers to complement Miles finally on this defensive line. And the interior's been strong against the run, as we talked about. Meanwhile, the Vikings offensive line, the injuries to the Vikings offensive line have to be scary. Yeah. Wentz is not as mobile as Gabriel, which is another reason I'm picking the Browns in this one. Mm-hmm. So I think he's more of a statue back there, more of a pure pocket guy. I think he's going to be a target for Miles in the Browns pass rush. I think he's going to feast on the backup tackle, as I mentioned earlier. It'd be interesting. Darisaw and him would be a good matchup. Darisaw could be the type of tackle, because I think he's one of the better ones in the NFL who could contain Miles. But if he works the other side in the backup tackle, that's where I think he'll do some business. I think the Browns' best player leads them to victory with 3 sacks in this one. Who let the dogs out, gentlemen?
I like it. I like it.
I like it, Dave.
We will turn to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, you got to start winning some of these. You've been on a losing streak here lately. Just saying. Okay, all right, buddy.
Actually, I think
I know you got the last. I know you did, but I haven't
lost the bold prediction. I did lose my game.
Yeah, all right. So, Steve, what do you got going on here with this bold prediction?
Okay, I got the Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. I'm going all out on this one. This is a big risk. Okay?
What are you doing?
I have the New England Patriots upsetting the Bills and giving them their
What?
first loss of the season.
What?
While Mike Vrabel continues to beat the Bills like he's done in the past.
Was he at your
No,
family
sure.
reunion this
Get
past
this.
weekend?
What's in this cup, by the way? I mean,
It's just Coca-Cola, but
okay.
get this. And I'm predicting Drake May will lead the Patriots with 3 touchdown passes and outduel Josh Allen and catch them off guard.
So you see like a shootout in this one, kind of, Steve, like an
I do
Aaron May
think
kind of shootout.
I think it's going to be a close game, and I think
Okay.
the Patriots are going to be on top.
Okay.
The Patriots have looked better than their record.
A little bit.
And the Bills, hey, Dave, let's be real. They squeaked by the Dolphins, the Saints. The Bills, I mean, they beat with the Ravens, by 1 point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they're not crushing everyone. I know they're undefeated.
Yes.
And every team is due for a loss.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be their loss because then they got some cupcakes coming up. They got like Carolina, a couple other teams that they should be able to beat pretty easily. And they got to lose sometime. I don't see them going undefeated.
Listen, I do think that May can do a little bit of business against this Bills defense. I still don't know if this Bills defense is that much improved from a year ago. That was the thing. I think they need to level up a little bit defensively. I thought maybe the addition of Bosa would help. But and I do like May. Although remember, I heard a great line. Bill Simmons, who I listen to from time to time. His cousin Sal gave Drake May a great nickname. You know what it is? Drake Maybe. Like maybe he'll be a good quarterback. Maybe he'll be good.
I actually think that he's a cousin of Herbert and what's the other guy I don't like? And
Trevor Lawrence.
He's the third cousin there.
He's like a disciple.
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
I am a Drake May fan.
Oh my God! Why?
I am too.
I like next to Jaden Daniels, and he has shown signs in New England he can be a good quarterback. Here's the thing, though, and this is why I didn't go with Steve's 11-game pick, which was Steve was drinking that day or something in the preseason. I will say this: I still think that roster needs a little bit more. It needs a little bit more on the offensive line, and they could probably use one more wide receiver. Plus, I still don't think that
Hunter
good coach, though.
Hunter Henry's looking really good.
Yeah,
Stephon Diggs gets to go against his old Bills team.
I'd like to see him find a right role for Trey
Throw
Henderson.
some touchdown passes.
I'd like to see a little bit more out of Trey
I'd like to see more
Henderson in
Henderson,
that
too.
offense too. Yeah.
At any rate, guys, go Drake and go Pats. Let's win.
All right. You have a score on that one, Steve? What are you thinking?
I didn't elect to go with the final score, but I do think it could be real close. I mean, maybe like a 31-29, something real close.
Maybe like a last-second field goal type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. We're gonna kind of wrap things up here today, and
Your final thoughts, Brett?
yeah, get some final thoughts on the game here. We got the Browns. I have the Browns winning that game, 28-24. I feel like I thought I mentioned this to you. I do think the offense is going to look different.
Okay.
I think it's going to look more under center, play action. Judkins will be involved. The receivers will get open because because of Dylan's ability to move out of the pocket a little bit. I feel like the offense is going to be a little different, and I feel like the defense won't be able to just key in on receivers as they once did before. I think there's going to be a lot more going on, a lot more motion. And I feel like Stefanski's schemes will come out. It will not be a Tommy Rees scheme. And I feel like they're going to win that game 28-24.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Now, is that based on Dylan having a day, or maybe the Browns getting a couple of turnovers?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Dylan's gonna have a good game. He really is.
Okay.
But I think I can see a couple, maybe 1 or 2 turnovers.
Maybe that D-line strip sack or forces
Yeah.
an interception, something like that.
And maybe that sets Dylan up to get an easy touchdown. Maybe,
Okay.
Guys, I've been waiting for this for a while. I don't really think, I told you, I was honest with you guys. Outside of you guys did talk me to the Baker Mayfield thing. Since 1999, I haven't really liked any of these quarterbacks the Browns have drafted.
Okay.
I feel like this guy's a gamer. Yes, he's got the height problem. We do understand that, but he looks prepared. He gets the ball out quick. Boy, I haven't seen a Browns
quarterback. If Gabriel could be like a Baker, man, that would be saying something.
Well, see, here's the thing, though.
Well, yeah, that's kind of real good.
Baker was far more productive in college than Gabriel ever was. I mean, I mean, statistically, it's not even close. If you want to go back and take a look at Baker's Oklahoma career versus Dylan's, Oregon career.
But he also played at Oklahoma too.
Right.
A little bit.
Right. Well, it's not like Oregon's been recruiting poorly.
No, I know.
And I think Baker showed an ability to make more high-level throws in college that were like NFL-level throws. And I still don't know if Gabriel can make those type of level throws.
See, I'm being honest. The eye test, I just like Gabriel better. Okay. Well, the eye test, the problem with Baker, I've always said this, he doesn't do well from behind. Now, fortunately, this year, he has done well from behind.
Right.
Yes.
But
guys, this is year 8 for him or something like that? Mm-hmm. And now he's doing it. I think Gabriel is, close, right? About 8 years. Right. Yeah, and Gabriel, he's just built for this stuff. 6 years, got the experience. I think I'm being honest with you. Who if I had to pick one of the two, who's more ready for the NFL? I know you said the eye test, Dylan Gabriel, I think is gonna have the better start than Baker.
We see the future of the Browns offense in London on Sunday.
I do. I'm excited. I do agree with Steve though a little bit about the height problem and maybe some batted balls, and that always. And Steve also mentioned injury concerns.
Yeah.
Other than that,
he got injured.
I do think Dylan's going to show up. I don't see a lot of problems. He's a gamer, and I look forward to it. Guys, let's go around and do some final thoughts, and then we'll wrap things up.
Well, guys, I know I'm not a big Stefanski guy, but I am very excited to see how Stefanski can be with this boy and Gabriel and the play calling and those guys working together. I'm excited to see that, guys.
I am too. I'm interested to see the game plan. I think this is one of those where the Browns defense is going to carry the day and help them get a win.
Yeah. Well said, guys. You guys have a good one. Take care.